Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, a big day in the Weather Lab. The western Gulf of Mexico with a tropical depression upgraded to a tropical storm and then a landfalling storm, all within just a couple of hours today. And it wasn't much of a surprise to us, but maybe for some. Unfortunately, though, very heavy rainfall on the way for southeast Texas. Scattered tropical showers here locally, but no major Louisiana threats. But we'll talk a little bit more about some of the advisories we do have going across southwest Louisiana along the coast in just a bit. First off, though, Justin Terrell getting a nice shot here of those tropical rain bands developing. You get the dark bases. This is just before the action begins. We had some daytime heating, and these are the outer rain bands associated with IMELDA and have produced some gusty winds across the region. Once again, dust blowing across portions of Acadiana, and more than likely wind gusts up into the 40 to 45 mile an hour range with some of these storms. Below severe levels, and that's the good news. So as we take a look at the Doppler right here, we see our tropical system. I got a 12-hour loop, got organized just as it got on the Texas coast. Now center of circulation working its way into southeastern Texas, made landfall about 5 or 6 hours ago near the Freeport area. Now the remnant circulation, still a tropical storm for right now, just to the west of Alvin, Texas, which is famous for getting over 48 inches of rain in 24 hours back in 1979 with Tropical Storm Claudette. And this kind of looks like a system like that could produce 30 or 40 inches of rain. We're not saying that's going to happen, but also similar characteristics to Tropical Storm Allison back in 2001, because this is going to be a slow mover right now progressing inland, but you're going to see these tropical rain bands repeating over several counties south of the Houston area, at least through tonight. Now, some of those tropical rain bands working their way across Acadiana, the activity beginning to die down, more activity offshore, but locally just some light rain shower activity moving through Lafayette, and then we work our way down into St. Mary Parish. Still some locally heavy downpours here across these areas, and again, this activity will gradually weaken as we lose that daytime heating. Flash flood watches back into Texas. Locally, it does include Cameron, Calcasieu, and Beauregard Parish, 2 to 3 inches in general, isolated up to 6, but the big numbers are going to be back across southeast Texas. Locally, a coastal flood advisory for tides that are running 1 to 2 feet above normal. That continues through tomorrow, but then things will settle down. But we've had winds, pretty healthy winds out of the southeast, so that has piled up the water along the upper Texas coast through Louisiana, and this is the big radar satellite composite picture. Now, IMELDA, Tropical Storm IMELDA, 40-mile-per-hour winds. We expect it to weaken to a tropical depression later tonight. Here's the official forecast track. Slow-moving storm. Here we are through Thursday, and then dissipating up by Tyler, but it may even be more slow-moving than that, and the rainfall might be felt at least through Friday across much of eastern Texas and maybe portions of Louisiana. And what we had happen today, the center of circulation got going, storms formed right over it and then advanced inland, but you see those tropical rain bands also working their way into Louisiana. Elsewhere in the tropics, quite busy. Tropical wave in the eastern Caribbean. We have Hurricane Humberto, tropical depression number 10 that looks to become Tropical Storm Jerry later tonight or early tomorrow, and another tropical wave that shows promise for development. Just all reminders that we are in the peak of hurricane season here in the middle of September. So Humberto, still a potent storm, 105-mile-an-hour winds, should bypass Bermuda with the worst weather just north and west of the island, but nonetheless is going to go Cat 3 briefly before it eventually moves out to the northern Atlantic down the line. Meanwhile, the next tropical system that we're watching is Tropical Depression number 10, expected to become Tropical Storm Jerry and eventually Hurricane Jerry, coming close to the northeastern Caribbean. Too early to tell. We think this might turn, but the one behind it may not turn down the line. So we're going to have to watch the tropics closely next several weeks, and especially when you get things like this in your backyard. Typical with tropical systems, the storms kind of consolidate at night through the morning hours, and then you see those tropical rain bands move eastward. So that's the way it's going to look tomorrow, a 70 to 80% chance of rain for us, but nothing serious. Heavy rain threat continues, consolidates again tomorrow night across southeast Texas, and then we'll do it all over again on Thursday with some tropical rain bands bands running to the east into Acadiana. As for rainfall totals, off the charts, here's the European model. Again, it's just one model run, a projection, but the model indicating solid 10 to 15 inches of rain, isolated spots up to 20 inches possible in some areas. That's not a done deal yet, but then you look at another model like the RPM model. Look the way it's piling up the rainfall in Galveston. 20, 30 inches of rain? We hope not, but it is a possibility, and that's just over the next 36 hours. So warm and humid for us, tropical showers along the coast and to the west at 40% overnight tonight and some early this evening. Breezy and warm tomorrow, tropical showers and storms at some point during the day, 80% for a few hour window, and gusty winds with some of those tropical rain bands again. So expect that, and then rain chances gradually toning down locally here as we get into the weekend. It just gets hot and humid again, highs upper 80s to lower 90s. Don't see a cool front anytime soon, maybe around October 1st, give or take a day or two, but we may have a tropical system threatening the Gulf of Mexico shortly thereafter. So we'll just play it close to the vest and say it's staying hot for a while.
It sure is. Okay, thanks, Rob.